Be ready. This week isn't what it appears to be. Most people won't grasp what's truly unfolding during this third week until it's too late. Tomorrow marks the start of the third week of February, a stretch of days that seems unremarkable. No holidays, no major events, just another week. Or so it seems. In truth, this is a hidden power zone, a time when energies settle, patterns lock in, and the universe quietly takes note of what's been set in motion since the month began. Think about it. This isn't a beginning nor an end. It's a checkpoint, a moment of evaluation. Yet most people, they overlook it. They miss the signs. But if you're spiritually attuned, now is the time to heighten your awareness. As we step into this quiet storm of energy, the question is, are you paying attention? Because like it or not, something is already shifting. This week isn't just another stretch of time. It's a setup, a prelude to something bigger. What happens now shapes the final days of February, the phase where truths begin to emerge. And let's talk about the number 3 for a moment. It's woven into the very fabric of the universe, past, present, future. Mind, body, soul, creation, destruction, rebirth. The third week carries that same energy, a crucial moment where adjustments can still be made before we enter the last phase of the month. It's the pause before the plunge, the space where you must decide. Are you stepping into alignment, or are you about to be swept away? Because once the fourth week arrives, there's no more waiting, no more second chances. By then you'll either be prepared or caught completely off guard. The last quarter moon isn't just another phase, it's a crossroads. On February 20th, the last quarter moon will rise. Most won't even notice. They'll sleep through it, carry on with their routines, unaware that it's a cosmic signal. This isn't a full moon, it doesn't shout. Instead, it whispers, and that's precisely why its power is undeniable. This moon won't demand your attention, it will subtly nudge you, and if you're not tuned in, you'll miss it. But trust me, you will feel it. Something will shift around this time. A moment, a hesitation, a pause. Maybe you'll be on the verge of a decision, and something just won't sit right. Or perhaps you'll be walking somewhere when a sign, a fleeting conversation, or a shift in energy makes you stop and reconsider. This moon won't choose for you, but it will reveal what you need to see. It could be the confirmation you've been waiting for, the signal to move forward. Or it might be a warning, a quiet red flag that saves you from a misstep. Either way, what you choose to do during this phase will set the tone for the rest of the month. Because after this, we step into the final stretch of February, and by then, there's no more second guessing. Whatever you've set in motion will start unfolding. So, will you recognize the sign when it appears? Or will you look back later and realize you ignored the one message that could have changed everything? You're about to say something that will come true, and you won't even realize it. During this third week, something strange will be happening. You'll be having a casual conversation, and suddenly a random thought slips out. Something simple, something meaningless. But then it actually happens. Maybe you'll joke about seeing an old friend, and then out of nowhere they text you. Maybe you'll randomly bring up a situation, and within hours it unfolds exactly how you described. You might even just think of someone, and suddenly they're right there in your reality. Now, is this just a coincidence, or is your mind tapping into something bigger? Intuition isn't loud. It whispers. But when you start predicting the future without even trying, you should probably start listening. See, during this week, your connection to unseen forces is razor sharp. The universe is moving fast, and your subconscious, it's picking up on patterns before they fully manifest. The problem? Most people dismiss it. They laugh it off, call it luck, or forget it even happened. But here's the thing. Every random moment is a message, a test, a clue about what's shifting in your life. And if you start paying attention, if you start tracking these small predictions, you might realize something shocking. You're already being guided. The question is, are you actually listening? There's something weird about the third week of every month, and you've probably felt it before. Think about it. The third week, it isn't the beginning. It's not fresh and full of momentum, but it's not the end either. There's no closure yet. It's in between, suspended, a phase where time feels off. And things start to shift in ways we don't always understand. Look back. Major moments in your life, big decisions, sudden realizations, intense emotions, how many of them happened in a third week? Probably more than you think. This is the moment the month resets itself, and most people don't even realize it's happening. This is the week where the illusions start cracking. Things you were so sure about at the start of the month, now you're questioning them. Plans you thought were solid, suddenly they feel shaky. And the weird part? You can't explain why. Maybe you feel restless. Maybe you feel like something's coming, like a shift is right there, just outside of your awareness. It's almost like the universe pauses, recalibrates, and sets the stage for what's about to unfold in the final stretch. So here's the real question. Are you going to notice it this time? Or will you move through this week like every other, ignoring the subtle signs that something is realigning beneath the surface? Because make no mistake, this is the tipping point of the month, and whether you realize it or not, it's already happening. You're being watched, not by a person but by a planet. On February 16th, Venus reaches its greatest brightness. It's glowing, radiating, beaming down from the sky like a cosmic eye. And here's the thing, Venus isn't just a planet. It's an observer, a mirror, a force that quietly reflects everything we try to hide from ourselves. Venus doesn't ask you what you say you want. It asks you what you really want. And right now, under its brightest light, the truth is being exposed. This is the energy that cracks open relationships, that stirs up emotions you thought you'd buried, that makes you suddenly rethink what you deserve, in love, in money, in the way you value yourself. Have you been lying to yourself about what or who you want? Have you been ignoring that quiet voice that's been telling you something isn't right? Well, Venus sees it. And for some of you, this week is going to bring proof you can't ignore. A strange tension in a relationship that wasn't there before. A memory of someone you haven't thought about in years suddenly hitting you like a wave. An unexpected moment of clarity where you realize, I can't keep doing this. If an ex pops into your head out of nowhere, don't be surprised. It might not mean what you think, but it means something, because Venus doesn't just show you the truth. It asks you a question. Now that you see it, what are you going to do about it? Something is about to leave your life, and something else is about to take its place. Some weeks feel neutral, like a blur of ordinary days passing by. This is not one of those weeks. This week has a pulse, a rhythm, a shifting energy that is already in motion, and whether you realize it or not, you are standing in the middle of a trade-off. This week is about movement, things leaving so that something else can enter. It's not random and it's not coincidence. It's a universal balancing act happening in real time. You might wake up feeling different, like something is slightly off, but you can't put your finger on it. A plan you were relying on could suddenly fall through. A familiar person might start acting distant. A job, a habit, a pattern that once felt stable could begin to crack. If something feels like it's slipping away, don't panic. Pay attention, because every time something exits, space is created. And that space? It doesn't stay empty for long. This is a week of replacements. You might not even notice it at first, but look closer. There's a pattern. Something disappears, and something else unexpectedly arrives. A lost object gets replaced with a new opportunity. A fading friendship makes room for a connection that aligns better. A setback forces you to consider a path you wouldn't have explored otherwise. Sometimes the shift is subtle. Sometimes it's loud and undeniable. But it's happening. The universe is rearranging things behind the scenes, and you are in the middle of the transition. The universe isn't punishing you, it's repositioning you. If you resist it, you might feel frustration, confusion, or even loss. But if you recognize it for what it is, a shift, a trade-off, an energetic recalibration, then suddenly everything makes sense. You are not losing. You are being prepared. And what's coming in, that's the part you don't want to miss. The numbers are trying to talk to you. And this week, they won't be subtle. Everyone knows about 1111. It's the classic sign, the go-to number for synchronicity. But this week, something different is happening. You might start seeing numbers you don't usually notice. 212, 333, 606. And when you do, pay attention to what's happening in that moment. Numbers aren't just numbers. They're messages, codes, a language the universe uses when words won't work. 212 could mean you're standing between two paths. 333 could mean alignment and a wake-up call. 606 might be telling you to let go of material stress. And if a certain number keeps following you this week, it's not a coincidence. It's being placed in your path on purpose. Have you ever had a number show up over and over again, and then later realized it meant something? That's what's happening now. So don't brush it off. When you see these numbers, stop. Look around. Ask yourself, what am I thinking about right now? What's happening around me? Because the answer is already there. You have to notice it. February is closing a major energetic chapter, and this third week, it's your final chance to wrap things up before the final phase of February. You might already feel it, that sense of unfinished business creeping up, that nagging thought you've been pushing to the back of your mind. This week isn't just another stretch of days. It's a checkpoint, a moment where the universe is stepping in, tapping you on the shoulder and saying, look, you need to deal with this now. And if you don't, if you ignore it, suppress it, tell yourself you'll handle it later, well, March isn't going to be so gentle about it. Because when a cycle is closing, everything tied to it, the emotions, the patterns, the decisions you've been avoiding, starts to resurface. It might show up as unexpected memories, as random encounters, as situations repeating themselves in ways that feel too obvious to ignore. There's a reason you might feel restless, more emotional than usual, more aware of things you've been trying to overlook. Maybe it's a conversation that's overdue. Maybe it's a change you've been delaying, waiting for the right time. But here's the truth. There is no perfect timing. The only moment that exists is now. This week is the pressure before the breakthrough. If something feels tense, unresolved, or just off, pay attention. That's not a signal to step back. That's a call to face it head on. The energy of this third week is shaping something for you, whether you're aware of it or not. And this is where it gets interesting, because the moment you become aware, the moment you choose to engage with what's surfacing instead of avoiding it, you begin to shift the energy in your favor. You reclaim control. If something falls apart this week, don't panic. If things feel unsettled, don't resist. This isn't about things going wrong, it's about making space. Sometimes the universe clears the path for you when you won't do it yourself. So don't dismiss this moment. This week is a gift, a warning, yes, but also an opportunity, a chance to close what needs to be closed, to prepare for what's ahead. If you're still here, thank you for your time and attention. If you enjoyed this content and want more, consider hitting the subscribe button. Your support truly means a lot. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insights.